City 3, Newcastle 2. That is why they're the best team in the world. That is why they are treble winners. That is why KDB is one of the greatest midfield players of all time. This is why KDB sits on the table with your Roy Keanes, with your Paul Scholeses. He sits there with the very, very best, the Kantés, the very best this league has ever seen, the Frank Lampards, not just the brilliant performers, not just the match winners, but the trophies, the consistency, the longevity, the mentality to go with each and every single one of the top midfielders in Premier League history. He is cemented in that group. He is absolutely cemented with Lampard, cemented with Scholes, cemented with Kanté, cemented with Yaya, cemented with David Silva, cemented, of course, with Roy Keane, Michael Carrick, Paul Scholes, the creme de la creme, the greatest midfield players ever. What a cameo. Scores a majestic goal to make it 2-2. Assist. Listen, Oscar Bobb's going to get the credit in a minute. I'm going to come to Oscar Bobb. But the pass from KDB in the dying moments of the game to open up a very resolute, a very rigid, a very hard to break down, a very, very, very hard to break down Newcastle team. And from my point of view, I think to myself, this is why they've been my favourites again this season to win the Premier League. It's why I've not been able to look beyond them. Arsenal will contest. Liverpool will certainly challenge. And Postecoglou thinks that Spurs will challenge. And that's fair enough. A lot of Aston Villa fans think they will challenge. And that is fair enough. But you cannot look beyond this team. You cannot look beyond Manchester City. There's no way, shape or form. And a lot of people think they're going to go on a 10, 15 game winning streak after the FA Cup round. And there was a moment in the game, 65 minutes in, where you think to yourself, Alvarez missed on the 69th minute, I think it was, kicked it over and thought, could the first game of that 15-game winning streak be a loss? Could the cat be thrown amongst the pigeons again? No. Too much quality, clutchness, the mentality absolutely oozes through each and every single one of these players. And if Arsenal, if Liverpool, if Spurs or Aston Villa are going to become champions of England this year, they are going to have to put in one of the greatest performances in their club's history, because this is the best Man City team they've ever had. Forget the Centurions. As brilliant as they were not up against the level of quality from multiple teams like we see now. It didn't exist 5 years ago, 6 years ago. It wasn't there. It's better, more competitive now. Liverpool are better. Arsenal are better. Villa. There was no one of this level back then. No one. No one. The Man United team that came second would struggle to get into this top four. That was the closest team to City back then. This is the best Man City team of all time. Look, if they do the four-peat on the back of a treble, I hate saying this as a Man United fan, they become the greatest English team of all time. That is how good. So I think that's why when I see people overly criticizing their managers, you have to remember the context of what you're competing in. Sensational. Oscar Bobb. Listen, I don't know much about this kid. I obviously don't follow the academy of Man City. Young Norwegian man, I believe. That touch. And then I don't know what that skill was called, where it's almost like a 1-2 of him. So it's probably got a name. I don't know the names of skills and never bothered to learn them. But the little touch around the Bravka to put it in was absolute, considering his age, his lack of experience, an absolute joke of a goal from him to win this game as well in the dying moments of the game. In the dying moments. I will say this as well. It was a sensational football match. Both teams can walk away from this game with their heads held high from an entertainment perspective. Of course, Newcastle fans are going to be feeling a lot of pain right now. They're going to be feeling a lot of anguish, a lot of frustration, because they was it one win in their last 7 or 8 games in the Premier League. It's been like a fortress at home, but they go and lose. It's the second time in a couple of years they've led against Manchester City, and then in the end, through all their hard work, have collapsed and it's fallen away. So I get that they'll be very, very frustrated, especially when you look at the context of their current situation. It's not as though they're on a good run and this is an anomaly game. It's another game that they're going to feel they should have got more out of. Chelsea in the Carabao Cup should have seen themselves into the semi-final as an example, but couldn't get it done. So there's going to be a lot of frustration, absolutely, from Newcastle United fans, and I completely understand why there would be. As a neutral, it was an absolutely breathtaking game of football to watch. In the last 20 minutes, my brother came home. He was away watching Portsmouth versus Orient today. Orient, mid-table, beat top of the table Portsmouth, and we both just sort of said the same thing to each other. They're going to score. Just watching the way the game was going, Newcastle was sitting deep. They didn't have any real outlet substitutions they could bring on to change things. And I know that's not a consolation to Newcastle fans. I'm not trying to pat you on the head like a dog, but I sympathize with today, but I understand the overarching situation is not particularly good. A few people saying Trippier again, potentially, but that ball was so good. The only element I would look at Trippier with that is if he'd have kept in line with the rest of his team, Oscar Bobb would have been offside. That element, I think you could look at him for. But the pass in itself was just absolutely ridiculous. The pass in itself was absolutely ridiculous. It really, really was. Let's go to some of your comments here. KDB, GOAT, he is above all. He's above all midfielders in this era of the Premier League, there's no doubt. If we look at this in an era section, there's no midfielder in this past 6 to 8 year period that's as good as KDB. He is the best. He moves into the category of all the Premier League greats. Like I've mentioned, Roy Keane, Paul Scholes, Lampard, Vieira, Yaya, Silva, Kante, to name a few, Ballack. He goes into that category of our greats, our top-class players who have won everything or won the majority of the trophies, who have had consistency and longevity. That man sits with each. Gerrard, he sits with all of them. Absolutely all of them. Recency bias will probably put him on top. The same as when Scholes was killing it, it put him above other people. And in another 20 years, you youngsters that are watching KDB now, your first time around, someone will say, this guy's better. And you'll go, no. But I put him in there. He's in there for that debate, no doubt. It was always going to be Liverpool again. Salah. I don't know what you mean by this, brother. Let me know what you mean. 100 million Luke Chadwick holding bench for Bob the Builder. Listen, look, I think Jack Grealish is a tremendous talent, but there's nothing. I know he might have had an injury recently, but with Doku, with Oscar Bobb, I think Grealish might be gone relative in the next summer or two. I really, really do. Out of shape KDB changed the game and bossed Newcastle whilst gasping for air during stops in play. This man is still the best midfielder in the Premier League, and it's not close. Yeah, he's absolutely out of this world. A weird comment here from Paul, though, that says, Terry, apologise to City, you knob. Apologise for what? Predicting you were going to win the league? Apologise for saying you're the best team in the world? Apologise when I've called people idiots for saying KDB was finished? What do you want me to apologize for? Praising you. Okay. I apologize. I genuinely apologize to every Man City fan for saying you're the best team in the world and for saying you're the favourites to win the Premier League. I'm sorry that 2 weeks ago I called out Hamza and I called out V when I stated that they celebrated being fourth and I thought it was that you being fourth was a miracle. And I said, that's ridiculous. Even with injuries, you're the best team in the world. I'm sorry for saying that. I'm sorry for recently saying that one of the great things about Man City is that when they make mistakes in the transfer market, they rectify it very quickly. I am genuinely sorry to every single Manchester City fan for saying you're a good team. I apologize profusely. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Apologize for your Arsenal bias ways. So I apologize for saying that Arsenal were going to come second to you. I'm Carlos, I'm genuinely sorry that I said Arsenal were going to come second and you were going to win the league. I apologize for that Arsenal bias. Damn. Apologize for saying you're better than Arsenal. I'm Carlos, from the bottom of my heart, on my eyes, I apologize for saying that Arsenal and Liverpool and Spurs, Man United, I'm sorry for saying that none of them are as good as you. I'm sorry that it has upset you, that you're not as good, that they're not as good as you. I'm sorry, bro. God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that I said you were going to win the Premier League and they weren't. Damn. Oh, no. How much would KDB sell for now, Terry? Wow, what a gem he is. Again, we have to remember, we've probably never had this conversation, Kate. The value of a player is not just dictated by his quality of football, his commercial ability, his sell-on value. It depends what league he goes to. All these things dictate price. I'll send you a pamphlet. There's generally a pamphlet which the leading consultancy firms have put together that demonstrate how clubs calculate the value of a player. But I think if you were still to sell it, I still think at the age he's at with his injury record, the fact there's no sell-on value, I still think he's a 70 to 80 million pound player. If he was 5 years younger, you're talking 150, 200 million. That's the category he sits in. He's that good a player. But I think at his age, with no sell-on value, I don't even know how long's left on his contract. That 70, 80 million, I think you could probably would be a good price to play at his age. But he's amazing. He genuinely is amazing. He really, really is. Apologize to Sancho. I'm not going to apologize to Sancho because I'm someone that said I'm glad that he's gone. I'm someone that I said I hope he shines. I'm someone that said I think he'll do brilliant away from this cesspit, which is Manchester United. I won't apologize for the criticism I gave him for lots of poor performances in the Man United shirt because they were poor. Some of the things I blamed him for in terms of his performance, some of the things I blamed the club for, as I've done with all players. So I'm consistent in that basis. I did see that he assisted today. And like I said on the show last week, I am buzzing for him. I want him to succeed. Any Man United fan that wants him to foul is an idiot because him failing hurts Man United. If he kills it at Dortmund, we're either going to get a much bigger transfer fee for him in the summer, which is good for us, or he's going to come back and maybe shine for us. So it's win-win for Man United if he does well. So I'm happy for him. I'm more so happy for Manchester United. So I ain't apologizing diddly. He's doing exactly what I want him to do. And yes, I know Sancho is better than Anthony. 100%. I've never said otherwise. You've never heard me say Anthony is a better football player, a better technician, has more ability than Sancho. So again, don't throw these things at me. I ain't said them. Go to the man that have said it. We need to talk about how dismissive the media have been about City until recently and propping up the teams from London. What's going to stop them? Listen, I'll be honest with you. I don't think anybody has been dismissive of Manchester City. I'm going to call you out on this, my bro. And you're a great super chatter, and I've got a lot of time, love, and respect for everyone who super chats. But I don't know what you mean by that. I haven't seen anybody be dismissive of City. They're everybody's favourites pretty much to win the league still, barring Gary Neville, who I think said Arsenal. The vast majority are saying they're winning the league. So I don't know what you mean by dismissive. I'd love you to unpack that a little more for me. How did Rodri stay on the pitch? Look, that's listen, I'm not going to be a hypocrite, but I'm going to ask a question. So there's a few things on red cards today. I think Bruno Guimaraes should have been sent off. He's on a booking. He was then late onto Rodri and stood on his foot. I don't care about the threshold goes up when you're already booked. That's a second yellow card. He gets booked for it. If he's not yellow carded, should be sent off. However, a minute later, Rodri gets booked and then shouts in the ref's face, waves his arms, no second booking. Delo was sent off for that. Later in the game, in the second half, he has a shot or a cross that deflects and goes for a corner not given. Twice. Throws his arm at the ref and shouts at him, no second booking. I don't think Delo should have been sent off for his dissent. So I'm going to be consistent and say I'm happy that Rodri wasn't sent off. However, I'm asking the question. I tweeted it on the day, went crazy viral. Delo is the first player ever, and I think he'll be the last player ever to be sent off for dissent in the Premier League, whilst being booked in the same instance. So maybe someone gets booked and then descent later. That might happen again. Should have happened. Maybe could have happened to Rodri. But you'll never see an incident again where a player gets booked for a foul or for descent and then his second yellow card in that same moment for it. It's not going to happen. Especially not to Rodri in Manchester City. So he was a lucky boy today that the referee was refereeing the game properly. The number of balls whipped into the 6-yard box in this game by City, but no one to finish it. This is why Haaland is different and not a tap-in merchant. Well, this is, yeah, you're right. This is why the claim of tap-in merchant is just absolute folly. Listen, it was funny for a few weeks, and now it's dead banter. The people that use it, if you grew up in my era, the lads would have just shut you down and said, look, you're boring now, shut up. It's just a dumb joke. Tap-in merchants don't exist. Tap-in merchants don't exist when you score at the frequency he does. You could argue some of the tap-in merchant when he scores 5 goals a season, they're all tap-ins. But when you do what Haaland does on a regular basis, again, the greatest young goal scorer Europe has had since R9. That is factually true. Don't care about your feelings. No young player in Europe, including Champions League football, has this many goals at his age since R9. R9, of course, a better overall football player. That's why I said goal scorer, stroke finisher, not footballer. I'm being very specific with my words. Anyone that calls him a tap-in merchant is either telling a bad joke or congratulations, you're letting us all know that you don't know ball. We're going to open up the line soon. I don't know if KJ has shared the link with any of the City fans. We're going to open up the line soon and get everybody on to have their say. I want to know what you all think, what you all feel. Of course, it's facts. We all know it's facts. We all know it's facts. I want to know who your man of the match is as well. So let us know in the live comment section now who your man of the match today was. Spam it. Let us know now. And moderators, let them spam. Spam it for a minute or two. Let us know who that is. I'm not too sure whether City fans. I thought the City fans would be flooding through today to have their say on Football Terrace, but I don't know where they're at. I'm going to share the link again in the other groups. I'm sure KJ has shared it with everybody. We shared it at like 5 o'clock. They probably can't see or find it now. That's normally what happens. So we'll be getting them on in a few moments' time. I want to see who you are all saying. Just KDB. Rodri's come up here. It's just KDB, isn't it? Look at that. And I want to know where you rank KDB. I also want to know where you rank KDB in terms of Premier League top 5. I'm going to go back and find my old tweet. I'm going to find my old tweet here. I always bookmark it, but it's hard to find bookmark tweets. I'm going to the wrong bit. Let me search this, right? We got this. Search your own app and then write top 5 midfielders. I think I spelled midfielder wrong. That won't help. It doesn't help when you're trying to type live on the air when you're dyslexic. Top 5 midfielders. I've updated it. I updated it on the 8th of November. So this is where I have it. I don't know if you guys have seen it, right? So I'm going to zoom in. And I'm kind of glad I updated this and updated the way I did. And this when people keep saying to me, you said KDB's finished, Terry. No, I didn't. This is what I said about KDB recently. I'm going to put it up on the screen so you can see my tweet. There it is. Top 5 Premier League midfielders of all time from me. Paul Scholes is still number 1, in my personal opinion. KDB second, then Frank Lampard, then Roy Keane, and then Patrick Vieira. That's my personal top 5 Premier League midfielders of all time. If I scroll down, you can see my top 10 here. The same top 5. And then we go number 6, David Silva. Number 7, Steven Gerrard. Number 8, Yaya Toure. 9, Kante. And 10, Michael Carrick, stroke Cesc Fabregas. And look, Gerrard, would he be higher if he was in more title races? Yes. Because what we didn't see enough of from Gerrard was how he handled that last 10 to 15 games of the season, year in, year out. We've seen that from KDB. We've seen it from Scholes, seen it from Lampard, seen it from Keane, seen it from Vieira for many years. We saw it from Silva. We saw it for a little bit from Yaya. We did see it from Kante, Michael Carrick, and Fabregas. So you could argue they could be higher than Steven Gerrard, but Gerrard was such an amazingly gifted football player. But those last 10 to 15 games when you're in a title race, unless you're supporting a team that's been in many title races, you don't get it. I don't understand you to even be able to comprehend what I'm talking about. City fans will, Liverpool fans will, and a few others will. But listen, that's my top 10 as I personally see it. Someone here says trash list. Tell me who else. Tell me who shouldn't be in that list and who should be and why. I guarantee you can't give me a good enough reason to make me change my mind. Ozil can't be in there on ability. Right, okay, let me just premise it all. The holy quad. You've got to tick the boxes in the holy quad. Ability. Outputs and consistency of outputs. Trophies that you were influential in winning whilst in England, not outside or before, in England, because it's Premier League midfielders of all time. And longevity. How long were you absolutely amazing for? That's why I put Scholes in the top, because that man was amazing from 18 years of age till he was 38. He was dominating midfields and winning Premier Leagues at 38. Other than KDB that's on this list and still playing, where were the rest of them at 38 years old? What were they doing? The longevity is a huge thing if you maintain the level. I don't just mean you carried on playing till you were 38. Influential in winning Prems at 38 is huge. The holy quad. That's my holy quad. So Ozil can't be in it because, in my opinion, the Premier League didn't compete for anything major, didn't have the consistency of output, went missing too often, especially in big games. He's got the on ability, he could be on this list, but you don't know one ever in the history of football has ever judged anything purely on ability. That's for kids. We ain't kids here. Longevity is overrated. No, it's not. Do you want to know why it's not overrated? Do you know why? Do you know why we're all raving about KDB right now? Because KDB hasn't done this for 1 year. He's done it for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's longevity. 7 years of absolute amazing football. That's longevity. How is that being overrated? How is it? If he'd done it 1 year and we'd be going, oh, wow, he's in the top 5 of all time, you'd say, how dare you overrate him? You've got to do it for many more years yet. And then when we praise someone for doing it for many years, we go, longevity is overrated. Absolutely not. There is an argument to say at someone's peak, they were better than somebody who had longevity. But imagine having someone who's an 8 out of 10 every single year for 20 years. You can't discount that consistency. Why would you ever discount? Because what consistency at the highest level means, longevity at the highest level means is consistency. Surely consistency must get praised. Come on now. Look, I'm going to bring out panel now to have their say. We've got Steve with us. Matt's here with us as well. Yes, we also know there's 11 league titles in there as well. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy what people are saying. Someone here says Bernardo Silva. Yeah, listen, Bernardo Silva could be on that list. He could be. He could be, but let us know yours. Terry, are you going to put another Man City is scary? We already know this, though, bro. You don't need to be told it. Get on with it. You're not convincing anyone. I don't need to convince you. It's my opinion. I don't need the validation either. I want to know what your thoughts are. And yes, I say Michael Carrick. Kate, yes, Scholes is above him. 100%. It's not biased at all. It's not biased at all. KDB's a better goal scorer and creator. Do I think KDB could sit between the age of 32 and 38 in a holding midfield role and dictate and dominate and be the best midfielder in the league? I don't know. We'll see if he can do it. We'll see if he can do it. We'll see. We'll see. We will see. Steve and Matt are here. I don't know where the City fans are at. I was trying to wait for some to come backstage, but they didn't arrive. Welcome back to the show, boys.
They ain't got no fans.
Steve, I want to come to you first, mate. Another disappointing defeat. It looked like you might hang on for a point at the end, but it all fell apart again, mate. You're on mute, bro.
You're on mute.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I knew. I did a preview video with Daps. I said we'll lose 3-2, and it happens just out of nowhere. It's getting to a level where even though we're playing Man City and they scored some beautiful, beautiful goals, the problem is this isn't the first time and this won't be the last. That's not good, bro. I think Eddie Howe is a good manager and coach. And I think the game plan and what he offers to start off games is very good. And if we score goals and we keep up the intensity, urgency, it goes well. But the problem is when you don't, when you need to get gritty and you need to manage the game out somehow, some way, you can't do it, right? It's being good up until the point. I think that might just be the deal with Eddie Howe. When it works really damn well. When it don't, it's predictable. It's predictable. And it's just so frustrating that this happens time and time and time again. We have thrown so many points away this year because in a winning position. we've dropped so many points, a lot. And that is not a good habit to get into. It's really, really not. And I'm being like this because I'm trying to be consistent, right? You were talking about the greatest ever midfielders. You mentioned consistency. I'm consistent with all the teams. Like, people will be like, oh, with Man United, people are critical of them, but then they're not critical about their own club. No, I'm critical about my club just like the others, right? So it's just frustrating, man. But Man City are a tremendous, tremendous football team, and they did their thing today. So
they absolutely did. We'll
sorry
come back
for a while.
No, that's fine. We'll come back and talk about it in a minute. V.
Yeah.
What a comeback. What a
Yo.
win.
Comeback.
Yo. Listen. Oh, Kevin De Bruyne. The guy is nasty, Terry. I missed him.
Yeah.
I missed him so much. The quality that he has. 4 minutes on that pitch and he scores a goal. Precision. No rush. No panic. And then the day before, 17 minutes, already an assist. And he delivered. He delivered on a plate to Oscar Bobb. Man, I miss this guy. And you know what? The football gods, Terry, you talk about the football gods. We got to talk about the nature of football as well. Honestly, this league, it would have been unfair if KDB was healthy.
Yeah.
If KDB was healthy this season, like this season would have been boring for all rivals. It would have been, what are we going to talk about? We would have ran away with this league. It's fair that he happened to get this injury and recovery because the drama for this season is going to be impeccable. Shout out to Newcastle. It was a hard game. It was a hard game, and when they had their chances, they took them. First shot on target, they score.
Yeah,
man,
and a good goal too. It wasn't just like a tap in or scrap. It was a very good goal from
very good goal. Very good goal. If I'm going to be critical, I would be critical of Walker. Man, why are you showing this? Why are you giving them that strong foot? Why are you giving that up twice? That if I'm going to be critical of that, and we were a little sloppy, obviously with some possession. But
quite rare that Walker gets sort of beat. Really, like really rare.
It's rare that he would make the same mistake twice. That the first time he gave it up, I'm like, oh, Walker, why'd you do that? But then the second time around, almost unforgivable. But the fight in this team, man, it was really good. And we missed. I know you guys are gonna laugh in the comments. You're gonna say, this North American guy, shut up. But football wise, listen, Ederson, we missed Ederson. I missed that hit. I missed him.
No one's going to laugh at that. Of course, you lose. Anyone loses an influential player like that, you're absolutely going to miss them. You've mentioned KDB there. I've got a stat for you. KDB becomes the first Manchester City player to score an assist in a Premier League game as a substitute since Sergio Aguero versus Cardiff in January 2014. That just shows how rare it is what KDB just did. It has been 10 years since the best team in the country has had a player come on and do that. And you obviously make, on average, nowadays it's 5 subs a game and no one's done it. What KDB just did was out of this world. Do you feel, V, like this was a marker being put down again just to remind Liverpool, remind Arsenal, we ain't going nowhere?
Exactly right. This was the tap on the shoulder. Yeah, don't forget about me. Don't get too comfy.
Man City.
No, it was more than that. It was more than a tap. It was a move, bitch. Get out the way. Get out the way. That's what that was. That's what that was saying. Not no tap.
No, right? Fair enough. KDB came
That's
out.
what KDB is. KDB is moved.
It was an announcement.
I'm going to win this game.
King Kevin made an announcement. And if you didn't listen when he got that assist in the FA, you listen now. And that comeback is huge. The points were needed. Newcastle has always been difficult for us. Even remembering back to that 3-3 draw when they lit us up. So, yeah, I'm happy for that win. It's not easy to get that.
I want to say something as well, right? It's the first time in a while I've seen Pep celebrate a Premier League win so emotionally, with so much vim, with so much passion. And often you get people say don't over-celebrate a meaningless win because you didn't go top of the league, you didn't win the Premier League today. And I say no, because Pep Guardiola understands what a gateway victory like this means. He knows that if you lost that game or even drew the game, it's still 2 points dropped. And Arsenal and Liverpool both win their return matches after their international break. Suddenly you're in a situation where Liverpool can end up being 7 points clear of you, maybe 8 points clear of you. That becomes a harder task. Villa could pull further away from you. If Spurs win tomorrow, they catch up with you. And it sends that message of everyone said City were past their blip. They're taking a lead and now they've had another one. And it gives the Arsenals, the Villas, the Spurses, the Liverpools another shot on the arm.
Mm-hmm.
Your manager understands the mentality of that. And as soon as that goal went in, that is why he lost it, because he realizes, although it didn't put us back on top, we've got that game in hand. It gives us an opportunity, not more than an opportunity now. It cements us back again as favourites, because you are favourites. And I think he understood it. That's why he celebrated the way he did. And I do think it was, I agree with you, Steve. It was a huge tap on the shoulder. Get out the way. Man City are going nowhere. And I'm not going to lie. Yep. It made me sick. Hamza's here with us. Talk to me, Hamza. A brilliant comeback. Closing in on the top spot on the league. KDB returns. Oscar Bobb popped up with a sensational winner. Talk to me, Professor.
Absolutely outstanding. The world was watching this, and we absolutely entertained. I don't know what we do. Like, sometimes we play with your hearts and minds, and we get you feeling that you're gonna get that win. Like, Liverpool fans thought they're gonna get that win, and the rivals were thinking, "Oh my God, again another one!" But they do it again. The key issue is we have to congratulate Kevin De Bruyne. 2 years ago, I remember sitting with my United fan, and I said, "Yo, this boy will retire the greatest midfielder the Premier League has ever seen." He laughed at me. I thought, "You must be joking. You must be joking." Big privilege. You're watching him now. Players like KDB don't grow on trees. He inspired us. As soon as we were down, I thought, I need a leader. I need a mentality winner. When you need to win games, I need that guy that was tying his laces that day. I need that guy. And as soon as he tapped the pitch, we felt the calmness. He was like, get there. He led us. He had a major hamstring injury. He missed 4 months. You know one thing that inspired me, Terry? Look at he's lost weight. He looks young. He's focused on his health. He's focused. This guy is serious about football. He's a winner. He's a born winner. And he inspired us for that win. Look at that goal that he scores. The guy's been missing for months. Impressive win. And then to get us back and give Oscar Bobb, a young guy, a young boy. Literally, we're so weak. We're bringing players like Oscar Bobb, when Arsenal bringing Trossard and Liverpool bringing Jota. I'm thinking, oh my God, how times has changed as a City fan. And we win a game because Pep knew how Oscar Bobb is so talented. And we win that game. These are the games you need to win. I refused to today in the morning to watch with my brother who's a Newcastle fan, because I knew Newcastle are tough. They're tough. If we're able to get a away win against Tottenham away, and Newcastle away, and Liverpool away, those are 3 tough games I'm only scared of.
How old is your brother?
My brother is 34. And he's been supporting them since Faustino Asprilla, when he scored a hat-trick against Barcelona.
Most Newcastle fans are not from Newcastle, or either in their mid to late 30s.
And I'm sure I inspired them. A lot of the people.
Hang on. Most Newcastle fans are not from Newcastle, or either mid to late 30s or very young. It would be one of the two. Yeah, no, I hear you. Now, listen, I get the KDB prop. What about young Oscar Bobb?
Oh, what? He's got
comes on instead of £100 million Jack Grealish and shows him what being clutch is all about, didn't he?
It's not about Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish is such an important player for us, and we need it because he tracks back. He's a team player. Yeah. Oscar Bobb offered something different today. And what he does is such a young guy, and he's got quick feet, and he's very, very technical. He's more technical than Cole Palmer, who I rated a couple of years ago, so technical. Oscar Bobb is more technical than him. He can beat players under space. He's got smooth, you can see him, quick feet. The way he made that run, he's got football IQ, intelligent run. And for Pep to bring him on, tells you that Pep trusts his young guy. And for him to finish, to win us that game on stoppage time, composed in front of St. James's Park, is impressive. It's impressive. Another talent from City. How many City Academy are we making that are germs now? Like, literally, it's not by luck. It's not by luck now. And we need to get credit now being given and say, wow, Rico Lewis, Oscar Bobb, Cole Palmer, they're all there for them. Impressive, they're talented
We're
football.
pollinating the league. We're pollinating the league.
Absolutely. They're not like Harvey Elliott and Curtis Jones or they're like, you can see the way they move, the way they play football. They're very technical. Their football IQ is intelligent. And that's why Oscar Bobb will be a top player. No doubt about it.
Yes.
And you have to give credit today to Pep Guardiola. We have to give credit to Pep.
Yeah.
And Kyle Walker was lucky. One thing we have to talk about today. Kyle Walker allowed players to turn. What are we told, Terry, in football games? Don't allow him to turn in towards goal. Don't allow him to. It doesn't matter. He did it twice.
And even when he played not a great game today, a average game, he still had an assist for the Silva goal. So even when he's not that great, he could still produce a little something. That's a crazy.
But Newcastle were impressive. Listen, Newcastle were absolutely fought to the end. Newcastle didn't give up. Newcastle not small.
Yeah, I looked at it today. What Kyle Walker did to you, he ruined your defense. And I'm not too sure what he ruined more this week, your defense or his marriage. One of the two got destroyed this week, and they both did. But your team got him out of jail today. The man got turned inside out like a windsock. And look, he's a weird one because your manager begged him to stay. He stayed. I don't think he's had a particularly good season. It could be for all these off-the-field issues that are going on. And we know that's hard on people's lives. Yeah. I don't necessarily feel sorry for him with what he's done. It's, he's been the bad guy in all of this. But maybe that's an underlying part here as an example. Question that I had for you, both City fans, is 2 weeks ago on here, you told me that you were so happy to be sitting fourth in the league. You couldn't believe you were fourth because your squad's not good enough. Your team isn't good enough to be any higher this season. Do you still believe that? Or do you think you're back to being favourites to win the Premier League? I'll go to V first on that.
Asking me if we're favourites, I always backed my team, Terry. It wasn't a matter of that. It was just when we had that little injury spell and not having players available, that's when it's just like, what? Guys, we can't pass up on this chance of winning a four-peat. I think with King Kevin back, there's a lot of calmness, especially with me. I'm gonna be honest with you. My calmness, my heart rate is calmed. It's lowered. But I think this January transfer window, if I don't see rivals like Arsenal and Liverpool strengthening, going out there and really splashing the cash, then yeah, you know what? I'm calm. I'm calm with the players that we have. I'm calm with the experience that we're gonna take for this. And let's see which better team can do this. But if Liverpool go out and spend, they get that CDM that they're talking about, or they reinforce in that center back position, and we know what Arsenal's missing. If they go out and get a killer up front, then I think it makes life difficult for us to get this fourth. But nah, Kevin's back. I'm gonna say, you know what? If the club decides not to get anybody else, let's go and get it. Let's go out and get it with just what we have.
Hamza, do you see yourselves? I get you would back your team, but do you see yourselves as the best team in the league, as the favourites from this point? Your league title to lose?
No, I think we're favourites on the base of the past, and the manager is impressive and the players. But I think those Liverpool have easy. They're basically once a week. These guys are playing a bunch of nobodies in Europa League. I'm being honest. They're playing literally. Imagine playing Europa League. Like literally, they
got some good teams in their house.
It's easy.
Let's be real.
It's easy.
You don't even need. Let's not act like they're terrible teams. You have Leverkusen. You have Roma are a tough team to break down.
They're fourth in the league.
Brighton.
No. Professor brings up a good point. He brings up a good point.
Roma are a.
We might have to.
They don't have elite teams. It's
an elite teams, but they don't have easy. It's not black or white. It's gray.
Yeah, I just think that because of what they're playing Europa League, these guys can decide to field once a week, and I think there's more pressure on Klopp. Why? There's pressure on Klopp because he's been here since 2015. Is that right? And he's got one league, and a lot of people are pressing him and say that's not good enough to be a Liverpool manager, and you spend all that money and you've only won one league title. So it's getting to him that he must win the league this season. So this is why we must take advantage of making sure we don't drop points, because Liverpool are very tough because Klopp is a great manager, and I'm worried about them that if we keep giving them this little mistakes, they might run away with it like last time. So we must stay there. Until
Professor, let me add to that. Let me add to that. And I think the reaction we got from Pep on that sideline speaks to exactly what the threat level is. Because if we were to drop points with Salah gone, that's a wasted opportunity there. That's where we need to keep pace when their strongest player is no longer here. So this win was key. We got to keep this. And when they come back full strength, see which the better team wins. But I think his reaction was because of that.
But
I agree.
The squad. This is what me and Vato keep talking. We always talk to City fans, and we keep looking. Look at today's bench, for example. Look at our bench. You feel sorry for us. Look at my bench. I'll read you the names. Look, they're young kids. It's not to have
nobody. I'm going to stop you. Nobody feels sorry for Man City. Nobody feels sorry for any of the
Bruyne on the wait.
Your bench, as you say, your bench had Rico Lewis, Ortega, Jack Grealish, £100 million Jack Grealish.
Yeah.
KDB was on your bench. Oscar Bobb, brilliant young talent.
Bob.
50, 60 million pound Nunes on the bench. The only player on your bench that I look at and go, average is Gomez. Your bench compared to
Sassuolo. Tell me about Sassuolo then. You know Sassuolo.
Okay, no, nothing about him. Who is he?
Exactly, who is he? Exactly.
Yeah, but who is he? You tell me. You're a City fan. Who is he?
Yeah, I know. He's a youngster that plays in midfield. He plays for Spain, but he's from Gambia. But you don't know. That's what I'm saying. All these youngsters.
He don't play for Spain.
Hang on a minute.
Is he Hang
on. Hamza.
He's not ready to play yet.
Hamza, tell me 3 facts about Alex Murphy.
Alex Murphy. I don't know.
So give me 3 facts about Ben Parkinson.
Ben Parkinson, he's a Newcastle player. He plays on their thing.
Okay. Give me 3 facts, borrowing his name and what club he plays for, about Mark Gillespie.
Mark Gillespie, is that Keith Gillespie's son or something? Yeah.
It might be, but he's a goalkeeper. My point is, they're 3 names of the players who are on Newcastle's bench.
I know, I feel sorry for Newcastle.
Yeah, but no one feels sorry for any of these big rich teams. We've got to stop this.
I feel sorry for them. Because
I'm telling you, no one else does. We're moving on. There's another goal that's not being spoken about. Bernardo Silva's opening goal.
Woo!
What a finish.
Wow.
Out of this world goal, the build-up play, the switch from Doku, the brilliant cross from Kyle Walker, and then the majestic, I don't know what you call that, a back heel, a back flick into the bottom corner from Bernardo Silva was out of this world. That man is arguably one of the most underrated players in the Premier League. And I think a part of that is because there's so many other stars who are the poster boys of Manchester City. We've all seen this happen. Man United have gone through this. Liverpool have gone through this. Salah for years wasn't the star he should have been. It was VVD and it was Trent and it was Mane and Captain Henderson. Man United went through it, and Beckham and Giggs and Rooney were always the poster boys, where Scholes was probably our best player. Bernardo Silva, Hamza, another sensational goal from him, another top performance. What a player he has been for you.
He's a world-class player. He's absolutely impressive. A lot of people, no one slanders Bernardo Silva. He's sensational. He's got every ethics that you need as a footballer. Very talented, hard work, mature, and he's just such a good guy. He's a lovely guy, a likable guy. And today, if you see that goal, how we scored that goal, I think we had a lot of passes. We did a lot of, I think you're probably watching Match of the Day today. It will be like tiki-taka. We had more than 30 passes before that goal. And to just have the audacity of doing that little dink. And it reminded me of a goal. I remember who scored a goal similar to that. It was a beautiful goal like that. And it's just top class. And he is by far one of our most important players. And he doesn't get, thank God, he doesn't get injured. He looks after himself. You don't see him off the pitch. If a youngster wants to be a top footballer, you look up to players like Kevin De Bruyne and Bernardo Silva. They show you what a footballer is. You don't hear about him outside football. You see him as a family man. He comes home. Well, he's professional. He doesn't slander the club. You don't see anything except about him on the pitch. And we're so lucky to have a player like that in the Premier League. And it's such an impressive to watch. It's just so sad that we've had this issue with him missing back home, that he needs to go back to Spain or Portugal because he misses his son. But you know what? He's impressive. If we can give him vitamin D, 2,000 units once a day, and keep him here, I'll keep him here.
I hear you on that. Matt, I want to ask you as an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
How ominous did this win feel to you from a title contention point of view?
I mean, I was celebrating that 2-2 draw, as in they've dropped 2 points, and then they get that goal, and they're like, shit. Okay. So I think it was a real dagger, and it was like, Haaland's not even back yet. Haaland's not even back yet. And KDB is doing this. So I think once Haaland comes back, I think City are just going to roll it. They are just going to absolutely steamroll it. Kind of like last season. Just going to absolutely steamroll it.
They'll win the league by 10 points.
Yeah. 100%.
They'll win the league by 10 points. They're just that good, bro. They are just that bad. And by the way, there's... Huh?
And they will do the 4P.
Nah, but the thing is, I know... No, but okay. I wanna make this clear about Man City. They'll make it look easy, but it's genuinely hard. Very, very, very hard to be as good at football as that squad is. You know what I'm saying? It's a blend of both. They have to be so good, and it takes so much. And they, you know what I'm saying? It's hard work to be as good at football as they are. They're so good at it, in fact, that they make it look easy. So to us, to the naked eye, it will look easy. But that takes something crazy to be able to do what they do. That's what it is.
Terry, don't clown me. Don't be like, come on, City fan, show some chest or whatever. But listen, the one thing that does have me nervous, because we don't have all signs show that Calvin Phillips is leaving, and obviously he hasn't been able to fill that role. Looks like Pep is using a combination of Kovacic and maybe Rico Lewis. If Stones was healthy, maybe that would be coverage for Rodri. But that coverage for Rodri is what has me nervous. And I think the club may have to choose. The club may have to choose, because right now we're in those 3 competitions, FA, League, and Champions League. If anything falls off injury-wise or players aren't at the level because of fitness, we're going to have to pick.
Or bad form.
We have
form.
No, form due to number of games played, back-to-back games, things of that nature. We may have to choose, like Pep did, in my opinion, how Pep did when we fell out of the FA Cup versus Liverpool, and Liverpool were on the way to pursuing their squad shape.
Benito, I will say the same thing. I'll say, listen, I know people are going to slander me for this. Throw the FA Cup away.
Whoa.
I'll be honest, because it's a squad. You either try and go and run for the league title and the Champions League, and they're both great competition, all them 3. But because we've got such a small squad and injury, if we go for all them 3, and we're playing Tottenham next, Tottenham, I'd let Tottenham have that FA Cup and win that FA Cup. And good luck to Tottenham fans, because
who's injured for Man City?
But I would not. I'm scared of having Rodri. We don't have a replacement for Rodri. Fernandinho.
Hamza,
that's fair.
Who is injured?
But in every other
for,
position,
Man City at the moment.
Huh?
Who is injured for Man City? So you got
Stones.
Haaland.
Stones. Akanji. Haaland.
3.
That's
3.
3.
Yeah, and the key injuries, and they lost Gundogan and Amping. So they have major injuries. They don't have.
Have you seen Newcastle? Have you seen Tottenham's?
Okay.
No, but let's say, for example, it's like John Stones is like Van Dijk. If Van Dijk gets injured for Liverpool, and then Kevin De Bruyne was like, they're Mo Salah. If you had Van Dijk and Mo Salah injured for Liverpool,
I look at it this way. I get where you're coming from to a certain degree, but you don't need to throw these trophies away. No. You're out of the League Cup already, so that's 2 games semi-final wise you haven't got to play. If you stay in the FA Cup, if you stay in the FA Cup, it's 4 or 5 more games. You guys can cope with that. You've been there, you've done it, and you've worn the t-shirt before. The problem is if you throw the FA Cup and you play with your kids and you get knocked out, this notion people will come out with, what if we get injuries? Well, I've seen teams rest players, and then the following game, the players that were rested get injuries. What happens if you rest players and you go out of the FA Cup, and then you get the injuries anyway, and you don't win the Premier League by a point or 2, and you don't win any trophy, and then you get knocked out of the Champions League and you win no trophies because you sacrificed one. I don't think you can make make those decisions about those big tournaments. You know, you guys have got, yes, you could do a 4P. You could do back-to-back trebles.
Yeah, what?
You could. You may not, but you could. Because
You've already got.
You're the best team in the world. When Man United won the treble in 1999, we were amazing. We were one of the best teams in the world. Do you know how good the Italian teams and the Spanish teams, for instance, and the French teams all were back then? I'm taking nothing away from this Man City team. Man City right now are the best football team in the world. There are a couple that come close to you, but I still think you're better. You shouldn't be throwing any of these 3 trophies away, because if you did back-to-back trebles, there is an argument. Not only would you be the greatest English team of all time, if you did back-to-back trebles, you could argue you're the greatest football team in the history of football. Club team, that is, of course. So if you're a City fan, I would say, I'm going to quote a little bit of S Club 7, reach for the goddamn stars, because at the very least, you might just end up at the moon with one of those trophies. You start cutting this trophy out, telling your players, don't worry about this one. You could walk away with nothing. And that doesn't undo all your greatness, but it would make it a poor season. And you're still the best team. Haaland's going to come back fresh. KDB now for the rest of the season, fresh. Yes, you've got Stones out. He'll be back soon. You know? You might even buy somebody else to come in. And I know you haven't got replacements in for players like Gundogan that are as good, but Doku is the replacement for Riyad Mahrez, and he's going to get better as an example. Oscar Bobb is now coming through the team, and he is looking excellent. You have bought players. You have as big a squad as you had last year. Maybe not quite as good.
The quality.
You can still do this treble. You can still do it. You could still do it, bro. You can still do it.
You're right.
What I would say about Man City, right, is that their defense this season has been a little bit shaky. I think, like they are conceding more goals than I've expected them to concede. They've not they've not kept many clean sheets either. I don't think so. That's probably one of the weaknesses I would put. I think that's a weakness, but it's also because Liverpool and Villa and Arsenal and Spurs are all Arsenal in and around what they were last year overall, not as good as attacking. But there's so many other teams that have improved this year. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this City team's better than the Centurions. The points total argument is a little bit fugazi for me, because you didn't have Liverpool as good as they are now, Villa at this level, Arsenal at this level, Spurs at this level. If you had 4 other teams at that level back in 2017, 18, I don't believe City would have got 100 points, because many of those teams would have taken points off of Man City, and it would have been harder. So it's sometimes a case of what are you competing against, and sometimes eras are a crazy thing to look at. It's why in tennis there's a lot of tennis experts who rate Andy Murray above many other Grand Slam winners who have won more Grand Slams than him, because they say that Murray was doing it in the Djokovic, Federer, Nadal era, and no one else ever had to compete against that, and he still won 3 Grand Slam titles. If you just took one of those guys away, most experts of that sport say he would have won anywhere between 6 to 15 of these damn things. It's just he was against the 3 greatest players of all time. Sometimes who you're competing against weighs things up. There are certain heavyweight boxers that were in the Muhammad Ali, Foreman era who didn't become world champions that were better than some of the heavyweights that are around now that have been world champions. You have to sometimes look at this. Depends who you're up against, what is going on. They're all key components. I've got some super chats here to do, boys. This one says, I know all the praise will go to KDB and Oscar Bobb, and rightfully so, but give a big shout out to Bernardo Silva. The goal is why I watch football mad. Yeah, listen, Zane, that goal was just disgusting.
All 5 of the goals. All 5 goals were ridiculous.
Bang
on. Bob, a 20-year-old, is still blooming and came off the bench to score a match winner. Makes a difference when you have the courage to trust players on your roster. Absolutely does.
I got a question. Sorry, I got a real quick question about Oscar Bobb. What do you think his best position is? What do you guys think? I'm trying to figure it out.
I never. Do you know what? I never know his City players, because they're so multifunctional. I've seen him play centrally. I've seen him play wide today. I thought he looked really good today. So I don't know.
He's going to be a wide forward in some games compared to a winger. Yeah, it's crazy.
He was a winger.
Yeah.
City often like
A
multifunction.
winger, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. This here from Zane says, Terry, you will need to reconsider the list soon. Bernardo Silva and Rodri will surely make that list in the near future and get the fraud Gerrard out. Well, this is the thing. The players like Silvas and the Rodris will go onto this list because they're going into a category now where they're competing against the best, the Man United players who won the 5, 6, 7 plus Premier League trophies. They go above being that influential and that technically brilliant and having that great level of output and consistency in winning all those major trophies puts you above the other people, in my opinion. You add all those things together, it's getting to a point now where the Man City teams and the Man United teams in the Premier League era, their players dominate all those lists because they were the best. KDB or Henry, I think he's the Premier League GOAT now. Do you know what? I'm going to bring that conversation up Monday on the Top 6 show. It's too long for this point in this show, but that's going to come up then. What's mad is that Man United have more points than Newcastle.
Yes.
That is
and
crazy.
people are screaming
No
to
way.
the freaking hill, and people are screaming in the freaking
No, we have
hill.
the same. We have the same amount of points. We're level on point. No, we do have 2 more points actually.
Exactly.
We could go 5. We could go 5 points ahead of you if we win tomorrow. City are playing Copenhagen. This guy, it's true. You also got Copenhagen in the Champions League.
Copenhagen put you bottom the league in the Champions League.
Then why'd you want them? Then why'd you want? Whoa, Hamza, stop this.
How
Stop
can the United fans slander Copenhagen?
No. Hey, hold on. Why on your TikTok you wanted FC Copenhagen? Please give me a cover. Please give me a cover.
Oh, yeah,
I remember that, bro. Why'd you
Also,
want them so bad?
Hamza, an even better rebuttal for you. So you're saying that it wasn't embarrassing for Man United to get knocked out by them. You say they're a good team then?
Well, you got sent bottom of the group.
No, that isn't my question. Answer my question. Is it not embarrassing for Man United then? Are they that good a team?
Yeah, United are a good team. They should have.
No.
Yeah, United are a good team.
Slander Copenhagen. Like
No, you can.
Copenhagen,
You guys have got an easy team. As a City fan, I'm sorry I don't endorse the talk to throw away the FA Cup. We will not play Spurs every round, and we have Copenhagen in the Champions League. Come on. Yeah, absolutely spot. I don't know what this brother here, what my bro here is talking about. He's talking an absolute madness, Hamza. I love you, bro, but you're talking crazy. Look, I want to thank everybody who's tuned in today, everybody who's hit the like button, everybody who has subscribed to the Football Terrace today. My super chat is you're out of this world. You're amazing. My brother Hamza, young Matty, man like Steve, thank you all very, very much for coming on the show. Man like V as well, I appreciate it.
Before you go, Terry, just quickly before you go, I just
Yep.
want to say, you know that part that you said that we're not the greatest team. We are the greatest team because I know your treble wall, you were the great, and I watch your treble, absolutely the great. I used to say your treble the greatest. But after our treble, we won the Europa League Super Cup, which you lost to Lazio, and then we won the World Club Cup. So because we won all that major trophy, I respect United. United are second to City because that's why they won everything.
Cool. And so if you believe that, then there's no reason for you to sit there and start talking about throwing away fucking FA Cups, then is it?
You just got that flipped on your head, brother. Oh my god. Oh yeah. Oh
we're taking your PhD away, Professor. That's what we're doing. Listen, everybody who's tuned in, thank you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon.